Hi, how was your day today? Did anybody come or call? As you can see and hear, I'm parked up here at a Walmart. I have a really special video I want to share with you today. I want you to meet Krissy. She lives in a float house and it's a beautiful home. I want you to hear her story and take a look at her place. I think you're going to enjoy it. The Fraser River is the longest river in British Columbia. And when you cross this bridge, you enter into an enchanted community of floating homes. We were here to visit Krissy, one of Janie's very best friends, and she graciously allowed me to film a home tour for you. I think you're going to enjoy seeing her floating house. As a matter of fact, these little houses are so picturesque that the Hallmark Channel has even filmed here. So if you're a fan of romances, you may have already seen some of these houses. They come in every color under the sun, and no two are alike. This home even has a patio garden. As we sauntered down the boardwalk, we took in all of the sights. We were very fortunate because it turned out to be a lovely evening. It had rained just the night before, so we were thankful for the sunshine. Welcome! This is Krissy's patio. She has some plantings and a seating area, and it's just so inviting. Her quote-unquote backyard looks out the backside of the community at the shoreline. She even has a little floating planter, as you can see. Krissy has done a lot of work on her home since she moved in. As we step into the foyer, she tells us a little bit about it.
No, I was just saying every wall in the house here was wood. Everything was wood.
It was
And
better the way
for
it
wood
was
lovers, maybe, but it was very dark. So I just lightened up the walls and get some, a little bit more light in here. And it's still quite dark, as you can tell, right? Because it's got the low ceilings.
And then they had like the ship's ladder,
Yeah.
so she had to have stairs. So that
Can you
was
imagine trying to get down in the middle of the night when you have to get to the ladies' room? Trying to get down a ladder in a hurry? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I had to do a ladder, for sure. Absolutely. And there was carpet, wall to wall. And I don't do carpet. Don't vacuum carpet.
not with dogs.
No, not for me even. I just don't
Oh yeah.
do it. Yes. So did that, and then of course got it all rewired because it was built in 1975. So did upgraded the wiring.
Got it all
and
replumbed.
and put new fixtures in.
Yeah, all
And-
new fixtures, all new appliances, new countertops.
This is the registration plate for it up here, and it's registered. Its official registered name is Paradise Lodge, and so I've got this here, just as because that's what it was registered. It's registered as Paradise Lodge. So, but Brian, the previous owner, just had it sitting on the floor, but I put it up here. But then my friend made me this, had this made for me, and it says Casa de Courage, because my last name is Courage, so House of Courage, like a holiday kind of vibe here, So she made that sign that will go outside. The bottom cupboards used to look like the top cupboards, but I wanted to keep that character and originality, so I just put newer cupboards in the bottom so I'd have more space for storage. because it was quite tiny, the old cupboards. So
They look very nautical.
and also the sink used to be in the corner. It was really interesting. It had this angular double sink that came from the corner, which I kind of loved, but I don't want to be staring at the corner of the house when I'm doing my dishes. So I gotta change that. So yeah, and the dishwasher used to be over there, and then I extended this and moved that down. And so that's about the only changes that I did in the kitchen.
As you come down the hallway between the stairs and the kitchen, you turn the corner past the small laundry room and you find yourself back in the main living and dining area.
This is how I heat my house in the wintertime. So I get cords of wood in the winter. I go and pick it up from a beautiful gentleman. He's like, whatever, 91 years old or something, and works in his yard and still so spry. And I go and get all my wood from him. Yeah. He always gives me a little extra bundle of kindling. Yeah. And then with putting the stairs in, that created a little extra storage space underneath the stairs because there's very little storage here. I don't have one. I've only got one official kind of closet, I guess, which is all this underneath the storage.
Go upstairs.
So I don't really.
Show you upstairs.
This is how I do my clothes.
There, when she bought the place, it opens, as you can see the hinge there. There used to be a ladder that went up there, and up top there's a single little deck. But when we got the stairs put in, it took up too much of the room and the ladder had to go. So what she did when she did the exterior was they put a ladder on the outside, so now she can use the deck again for the first time since she moved in. So these are custom stairs because they could only go so far out. So they're not regulation, but because she's in a float home, the regulations or the codes don't apply, like building codes. Mm-hmm. So this is a little office. Come and see the view out here. There's the parrot. And that's where we had dinner down there. But this is, she's going to do voice work. So this is going to be like her office studio.
Nice.
And this is her infrared sauna. That's my cactus that she's been babysitting while I've been on the road. It loves it here because the lighting. So this is also her guest room. Her sauna. Yes, I see you. And her one and only closet in the whole place. And then the arches that go through. It's on the outside. It's 2 peaks, right? So this would be the deck up here. This thing only opens up about like this, so you literally had to climb out on the deck on your hands and knees, right? And then this is her bedroom. This is quite dark right now.
You can really see and appreciate the roofline in this room. There are matching peaks on either side of the house. As you can see, the top floor is divided into 2 sections. Krissy's bedroom has been walled off and is enclosed. The guest bedroom and office are still open. And here you can see the beautiful lines of the matching arches. These two skylights above the stairs provide some wonderful natural light that filters all the way down to the first floor. We step outside onto the deck and Janie shows me the stairs that go up to the rooftop deck. This deck at the very top of the house is tucked between the two peaks of the roof. Here's a view from the top. Krissy's float home is anchored near the end of the boardwalk. She is conveniently located next to this festive gathering area. Wow, just take a look at that view. I just love Krissy's decor and all of the attention to detail. Each of the items in her collection has a very special story and a history behind it, and it makes it all the more beautiful. Down this hallway and tucked underneath the stairs, she has a full-size washer and dryer. And next door to that is the bathroom. There's plenty of space in here with a flush toilet, a shower tub combo, lots of natural light, and a sink area. All of the homes are connected to utilities on the mainland. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Krissy Courage. That is my name. Christina, actually, but my friends call me Krissy, so call me Krissy.
How long have you lived on a houseboat?
It's actually a float home, and the difference between a houseboat and a float home is that a houseboat has a motor and can take off. A float home it can be towed, but it can not move on its own power type thing, right? It's tied up and it's anchored, but it can be moved by towing.
Okay.
But a boathouse is one that has a motor that can just get up and go wherever it wants to go.
Do you know how long this particular float house has been here?
It's been here quite a number of years. I don't know the exact amount, but it's probably been here for at least 20 years. Yeah.
And you were telling me you've been here for almost 4 years.
Right, 4 years and Halloween this year. I moved in on Halloween 4 years ago. It was kind of neat because I got here, it was all dark, and it was Halloween night, right? So it was 8 o'clock, Janie can tell you. We got here, came down here, looked out off the sheer, and there was just nothing but fireworks going off all across the horizon. So I thought, what a great welcome. Well, thank you for welcoming me so much. You didn't have to, but it was so great. It was beautiful.
What made you want to live on a float house?
I never even crossed my mind. It was Janie who brought it to my attention because I was looking, I'd sold the house and I was looking for some place to live. And I wanted to buy a place. I wanted to have a paid roof over my head. So I was looking in Vancouver in the West End where my brother lives because I'm close with him. So I thought, okay, but I couldn't find anything that I would have enough money to buy it and to do any work on it if it needed it. And anything that's when prices were still going up. And so anything I looked at, I could get into it, but I wouldn't be able to do anything with it, and I wouldn't have any cushion in my bank account. So I thought, well, that's not going to work. So one evening, I'm sitting there watching a movie, and I get a phone call from Janie, and she says, guess what? I went, what? And she says, I've got an idea. I went, what? For a place to buy. What? And she said, I was just watching NCIS, and I was following the action, and they were chasing after a perp, and all of a sudden I started paying attention to where they were running through, and they were running through a float home place. And she just saw the float homes, and then she heard, you know, the light went on, and she went, oh, float homes. So she looked them up and sent me a couple of links. One of them was to this place, and a couple of other that were for sale here, and another one was in Ladner. And that's how it came across my plate. I didn't even know. I never ever considered it, but it was affordable for me because I could, you know, because you don't have a chunk of land under you, so I could afford to get into it and have money for renos and have something in my bank account. So it was a win-win.
And what is this neighborhood called?
This is Walnut Grove, and this marina is called Grant's Landing because Monty Grant is the gentleman who started it all. He was a professor at UBC.
And what is this river that we're on?
Fraser, the mighty Fraser. Yes, which I've lived close to all my years since I moved to BC from Manitoba. So I've always been close to the Fraser, and now I'm living right on him. And then I found out that my cousin helped to build this when he was 25 years old. He was living on his sailboat in the marina in Richmond beside the boat builders, and he got to know these guys just from chitty chat. He was a working musician, so worked at night and then was free to do what he wanted in the day. He was 25 years old. He got to know these guys, and they said, hey Brian, you want to earn some extra money? And he said, doing what? And he said, well, we're building a couple of float homes here this summer. Do you want to help out? And he said, sure. So when I moved in here and he asked me to describe it, I described it, and because it's kind of unique because of the double peak, right?
It is.
So when I started describing it to him and the beamwork and the arched beamwork inside and everything, he says, that sounds a lot like a house that I helped to build in Richmond.
Wow.
He said, do you know when it was built? I said, 1975 in Richmond. He said, that's it then. I helped build that house.
Amazing.
So my own cousin helped to build it in 1975. Like, he's in his early 70s now, but he was 25. He sent me a picture. He found a picture of it when the roof line was on, but the whole one side was still open, so you could see the floors. And it wasn't complete, but he sent me a picture of it when it was under construction.
Now you do have two cute little dogs. Here's one right here.
Yeah. I inherited him just recently. I inherited him in April from a friend who passed. So that's how I ended up with Rocky. But she had a brother when we first moved in here. She's 15 and he was a year older than her. And they adapted fine. And what I did is I put this pad down here so that they can go to the washroom here. I don't have to go up top every time. When I moved here, it was going to be the first time in my whole life that I've ever lived by myself. So I've never ever lived by myself, and I thought, I wonder if it's going to be, isolating or lonely or whatever. Well, I did renos for 2 months before I even moved in here. I was with Janie, and so I got to know the people just with her and I coming down here. And my neighbors Murray and Haley, Janie and I showed up at, like I said, 8 o'clock at night, and they knew that we were coming. I was moving in that night because I'd been here in the daytime. He knew. And we got in here, we hadn't been in the house any more than 5 minutes, and there was a knock at the door, and Murray was there with 2 personal-sized homemade lasagnas.
Krissy's Float House is not just a place to live. It is truly a home. And these are some of the people who have welcomed her with open arms. And I want to thank you, Krissy, for opening up your home and also sharing your story. It's been truly uplifting and inspiring, and just goes to show, no matter where you live, a tiny house, a van, or a float house, what really makes it home is the people around you. And I appreciate all of you for being a part of my community. So please join us as we ramble on down the slow lane.